Diving is a fun skill to learn and build upon. Learning to dive correctly and safely requires practice under the supervision of a certified diving instructor or coach. You have already learned to perform headfirst entries. Now you will learn how to dive using a more straight up and down entry. This video will show you the steps of learning to dive safely. From the correct body position and entering from the side of the pool, to diving from a diving board. A basic dive has 4 parts. The stationary starting position, which can differ depending on the dive. The moment of propulsion, called the takeoff, usually a slight push with one or both feet. The flight or trajectory, and the entry into the water. To perform a good, graceful dive, every part of your body needs to be in the right position. To learn correct body position, start on dry land. Grasp the back of one hand. The palm facing out should be flat. Now raise your arms over your head. Press your upper arms tightly against your ears and lock your elbows. Keep your head up and tilted back very slightly. Lift your ribs up and keep your back in a straight line. Tilt your hips slightly backward. This is your setup position. As you dive, keep your body in a vertical streamlined position with your toes pointed. This is how you should always try to enter the water. With proper body position, you create a smooth entry into the water. Another important thing to know is what to do after you enter the water. In diving, the goal is to dive straight down toward the bottom of the pool, creating as little splash as possible. Learning to surface dive will help you understand body position for diving straight down. Start at the wall in deep water. Push off the wall and extend your arms forward. Tuck your chin and bend forward quickly as you sweep your arms back toward your hips. Now reach down toward the bottom of the pool. At the same time, lift your legs upward, keeping your knees straight and together. Watch the surface dive again. Now put the pieces together. Let's start diving into deep water from a kneeling position poolside. Kneel on one knee at the edge of the pool. Bend at the ankle with your toes in a position to help push off from the deck. Bend your other leg, keeping your foot flat on the ground. Move into the setup position. Focus on a target on the surface of the water, about 2 feet from the edge of the pool. Keep your chin tucked against your chest and lean forward. Try to touch the water with your hands. When you start to lose your balance, push with your legs. When you enter the water, straighten your body at the hips, extend both legs, and point your toes. Practice diving from a kneeling position until you can enter the water smoothly each time. The next step is a forward dive fall-in. Start from a standing position from poolside. Stand with your toes at the edge of the deck and move into the setup position. Bend at the waist. Focus on a target about 2 feet from the edge of the pool. Tuck your chin to your chest. Rise up onto the balls of your feet and fall forward toward the water, keeping your knees straight. As you fall forward, lift your hips and extend your legs upward so they are in line with your torso. Watch the forward dive fall in again. Now on to the standing dive from poolside. Stand at the edge of the deck. Move your arms into the setup position. Focus on a target about 3 feet from the edge of the pool. Bend your knees and begin to angle your hands down toward the target. Push off the deck. Lift your hips and extend your legs. Angle your hands down toward the target and keep your chin tucked. Now watch the standing dive again. Now you're ready to try the diving progression from the diving board. Start with the kneeling dive at the end of the board. Get into the setup position. Focus on a target about 4 feet from the end of the diving board. Reach toward the water. When you start to lose your balance, push with your legs. Enter the water in a vertical streamlined position. Practice the kneeling dive from the board until you can enter the water with minimal splash. Stand with your toes at the edge of the diving board. Move your arms into the setup position. Bend forward and focus on a target about 4 feet from the end of the diving board. Rise up slightly onto the balls of your feet and fall forward toward the water. Extend your body into a streamlined position. Practice the forward dive fall-in from the board until you create as little splash as possible. Now you're ready to try a standing dive from the diving board. Stand with your feet together and your toes at the end of the diving board. Get into the setup position. Focus on a target about 4 feet from the end of the diving board. Bend your knees slightly. Push off the board and lift your hips. Keep your body streamlined as you enter the water. Watch the standing dive from the board again. Once you're comfortable doing a standing dive from the board, you can add a jump to get greater height for your dive. Again, start on dry land by practicing the one-part takeoff. Stand upright with your arms at your sides. Move up, down, up into a jump, like this. Watch the motion again. Slowly raise your heels up as your arms lift overhead into a Y position. Circle your arms back and down behind your hips as you bend your knees into a squat. Keep your feet flat on the ground. Swing your arms forward and up into an overhead position as you extend into a straight jump. Watch the one-part takeoff jump again. The two-part takeoff is similar to the one-part takeoff, but it includes a jump forward before the straight jump. Raise up and lift your arms into a Y position. Circle your arms back and bend into a squat. Swing your arms forward and jump high and forward about twice the length of your foot. Jump again immediately, circling your arms back and down as you jump high and travel forward. Watch the two-part takeoff again. Next, try the one-part takeoff from poolside into the water. Raise up and lift your arms into a Y. Circle your arms back and down. Bend into a squat. Swing your arms from behind, forward and up. Now you're ready to try the one-part takeoff from the diving board. Remember the motion. Up, down, up into a straight jump. Stand at the end of the diving board with your toes at the edge. Raise your heels and lift your arms. Circle your arms back and down. Bend into a squat. Swing your arms forward, fully extend your legs, and jump. Focus on a point in the middle of the pool to help keep your head up. Enter feet first. For a two-part takeoff from the diving board, start off about twice the length of your foot from the end of the board. As before, raise up and lift your arms into a Y. Circle your arms back and down and bend into a squat. Swing your arms forward and up. Extend your legs into a straight jump. Watch the two-part takeoff from the board again. Now you will learn how to dive in the tuck position. But first, you have to start with the basics. Start by practicing a one-part takeoff with a forward jump tuck from poolside. Perform a one-part takeoff. While in flight, pull your knees up to your chest and grab them briefly. Then kick your legs straight toward the water. Enter feet first with your head up, legs straight, and toes pointed. Next, practice the one-part takeoff with forward jump tuck from the diving board. It is the same skill you practiced poolside. Jump as high as you can, briefly grab your shins, and quickly straighten your legs and point your toes for a smooth entry. The next step is to add the two-part takeoff. Perform the tuck as you lift up from the board and stretch your body into a straight line as you pass the board on the way down. Watch the skill again. You are now ready to rotate into a head-first position. This is a one-part takeoff with a forward dive tuck. Practice poolside first. Stand at the edge of the deck with your arms overhead. Focus on a target at a 45-degree angle across the pool. Start with a one-part takeoff. Throw your arms overhead to propel your upper body, arms, and head into a tuck position. The motion is similar to throwing a ball overhead using both hands. As you rotate forward, grab your shins, pull your thighs to your chest and your heels to your buttocks. Then kick your legs out, extend your arms overhead, and grasp your hands for entry. Move into a streamlined position. Watch the dive again. The one-part takeoff with forward dive tuck looks like this when performed from a diving board. Start with your toes at the end of the board. Use a one-part takeoff and repeat the forward dive tuck. Now watch the two-part takeoff with forward dive tuck from the diving board. Start back from the end of the board, about twice the length of your foot. Watch the dive from a different angle. You have just seen the progression for learning to dive in the tuck position from the diving board. To learn to dive in the pike position, follow similar steps, but start with the one-part takeoff with forward jump pike from the diving board. The forward dive in the pike position looks like this. When your body is in the air, let your hips rise up as you reach for your toes. Bend only at the hips. Keep your knees straight. Touch your toes, then extend your arms out to the side to prepare for entry. Watch the pike dive again.